Now by the Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming, chair of the Senate Republican Policy Committee. I had hoped now, some 19 hours after the government shutdown began, that we'd be having a much different conversation. Do you see a change of course this evening?
Well, I don't right now, Julie, but I think, Chuck Schumer, as part of this Schumer shutdown, has completely misjudged the viewpoints of the American people. All on behalf, he wanted to shut down the government of the United States, affecting people who are in the country legally for people who are in the country illegally, and there are major consequences for people all across the country, and I'm seeing it in calls we've gotten from Wyoming today alone.
So Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he held a news conference today, and he himself pointed out all the harm a government shutdown causes. It halts funding for the military, funding for children's health, disaster aid, and the list goes on. Who is going to come to their senses before this shutdown does more harm?
Well, 5 Democrats already voted with us to keep the government funded. But right now, Senator Schumer is blocking votes in the floor of the Senate as time expires. They're filibustering all of these things. I'm ready to vote right now to reopen the government, but we don't hear that from the Democrats. And there, as you say, there is real damage in terms of children's health, in terms of our military, our veterans, our first responders all across the country. And the American people realize that what they are doing here, this shutdown, is because of folks who are here illegally, and that across the board, people understand it's much more important to fund the government, to keep the government open, to address that other problem at a later time. But there is nothing that we have in this continuing resolution that the Democrats actually oppose. There are 9 million children dependent upon the Children's Health Plan. I had a call today into my office, and we've been here staffing all day answering calls. We have 7,300 people in Wyoming on children's health. And one woman called and said, will my child still be able to get health care now that the government is closed down because of the Schumer shutdown? We assured her that she will get that care in Wyoming.
Senator John Barrasso, we're going to hold you up until the next commercial break, so we're going to be right back with you in a moment. I have a lot more to talk to you about regarding that cloture vote that was actually brought to the floor today. What happened? It fell flat. We'll be talking with the senator about that and much more. Stay with us. Joined now by the Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming, chair of the Senate Republican Policy Committee. The White House just releasing a photograph of President Trump working in the White House. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to see it, but this is him on the phone wearing one of his Make America Great Again hats. During the shutdown, he had canceled a trip to Florida this weekend. He is working very hard to try to negotiate something. Who is he mostly putting pressure on in order to do that?
Yeah, well, I think he wants the American people to put pressure on Congress. He's talking to members of the Senate who are the ones that blocked this last night. The American people want the government open again. They understand the chaos and the consequences of what the Democrats have done by voting to shut down the government over an issue of illegal immigration. The American people overwhelmingly are saying it's much more important to keep the government open and funded, but to continue to work on the issue of immigration and do it in a bipartisan way and do it between the House and the Senate. Those discussions are going on. The president has been very clear that you can work on this all the way through March, but the Democrats had decided last night they're going to shut down the government on the issue of people in the country illegally. I think is an affront to the American people. It is not the way we want to do business in this country. We need to move forward, and we need to fund these vital programs that people are so dependent on, like the Children's Health Plan, the opioid plan, issues related to our veterans, our military, national security, border agents, all of those things which are part of keeping the government functioning and funded.
A cloture vote was brought to the floor today, and it fell flat. This was an opportunity to finally reverse course. Why?
Well, the Democrats blocked that vote because they're continuing to filibuster. The rules are that they have up to 30 hours to discuss and debate these things, but you can yield back that time and vote immediately. The Democrats said, no, you're not going to vote now. You're going to have to wait. Once again, holding the American people hostage, the citizens of this country hostage because of the issue of illegal immigration. And, the papers had it right. New York Times headline yesterday, Washington Post headline yesterday. It's about DACA, immigration. Those are the issues for which they have chosen to shut down the government of the United States.
Republican House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy of California said that the GOP conference was very unified and that a proposed 3-week extension of funding being worked on by Senate Republicans could likely pass the House. So then what happened, and what is wrong with Democrats looking at this as a separate issue, tabling it, and taking that 3-week extension to go ahead and debate DACA down the road in order to spare our government?
Well, I agree with you, Julie, as does the American people. Even a CNN poll said exactly what you have said. The American people say reopen the government and discuss this issue separately. It's also what President Trump has said. We're going to get to another vote on this to try to open the government, but the Democrats have dug in their heels, playing to their very liberal base. But certainly ignoring what the independents are saying across the country, which is reopen the government, deal with issues of immigration separately, get the government funded, the vital services that the people need. We cannot have this chaos in the country that Chuck Schumer has brought and the Democrats have brought upon all of us, Julie.
All right. Senator John Barrasso, thank you very much, sir, for all your time tonight. We appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you, Julie.